Hey everyone, so it has been a little bit of a time off from the YouTube. Just haven't been quite as on top of my social media game recently, but wanted to give you guys just an update on where my training is at and also just a little bit of a life update as I voice over some of these training clips. These are from this past week. This was an upper body session that I did, and so then I will move into actually a lower body session. This is just to show you guys kind of what my some of my upper body work is looking like right now, and then move into a full lower body session that I'm going to show you guys in every single exercise that I actually performed for that lower body session. So these are just straight arm pull downs here for my lats, and then here are alternating single arm curls. I really like this hammer strength machine. Oh, well, you get to see me twice. I didn't realize I put this in here accidentally twice. So straight arm pull downs and then single arm curls. So currently I am running a push-pull lower split, push-pull lower split. So I'm lifting 6 days per week, and I am actually pulling off the floor for the first time consistently in about a year, a little over a year. So as some of you may or may not know, I had a lower back injury. I've had that for several years. Here, this is 275 pounds for 5 sets of 6. And so this had zero pain on my lower back. Felt amazing, felt really fast, really smooth. But I have had a lower back injury for the past several years, and I am currently working with a physical therapist to address those issues. And there are several reasons that I have had lower back issues, but I won't go into those specifically today because I am planning on making a actual entire video with her. Her name is Dr. Debbie, and she is here in Columbus, Ohio at the Spot Athletics. So here, this is actually the start of my lower body session from yesterday, and I started with box squats. So here I worked up to 225 pounds to a box that is a little bit lower than parallel, so I'm able to completely sit on the box. Now, some individuals will say, well, why aren't you just doing normal squats? Why are you doing box squats? So with box squats, I am really able to drive my knees out and keep the force in my hamstrings and in my glutes as opposed to letting my quads take over. Essentially, one of the reasons that I was experiencing a lot of lower back tightness is because my quads were dominating the entire lift. I was not utilizing my hamstrings and my glutes near enough during the movement. Now I was able to lift a lot. I was really strong for powerlifting, but this year I'm just getting back to the basics, and I am reworking things to make sure that I am not continuing to hammer injuries that have been bothering me for years. So my main injuries that I am working through right now are my lower back and my right shoulder. So I have had a right shoulder injury since 2013. So it has been a long time. But here, as you can see, when I sit on the box, what I am doing is driving my knees out and not letting my knees travel forward. The more my knees are traveling forward, the more I'm engaging my quads. Now, a bit of knee travel is not a bad thing, a little bit, especially if you are a powerlifter and your goal is to lift as much weight as possible. But for me right now, that is not my goal. My goal is not to try to utilize my quads on squats. I know that sounds kind of crazy, trying not to use my quads, but I am very quad dominant, so it is more of a mental cue. Obviously, I'm still using my quads significantly on squats, but it's just me mentally thinking of using my hamstrings and my glutes because working with my physical therapist, they essentially were not, my hamstrings and glutes were not being utilized nearly enough, and I was just defaulting to my quads, causing a little bit of a fold and causing lower back issues. Also from uneven hips. So next I moved to leg press. Here Bryce, that is Bryce Calvin in the background, he does my programming currently. And so next is banded leg press. As you can see, the bands allow for a little bit extra tension at the top of the movement, and then also allow for greater range of motion because they're pulling the leg press, the Cybex leg press, down further. So greater range of motion and also a little bit extra weight added from the bands at the top of the movement. So I did 5 by 12 and worked up to 540 pounds, I believe, and then went on for an AMRAP on my last set and hit 17 reps. So I believe this was my last set. So unless I put 2 of the same clips in here for some reason. Bryce and I are just joking around as usual. So we never get anything done at the gym. Just kidding. This was like the most amazing leg session ever. Really felt strong, really felt good. I've never been able to push this much weight on these certain exercises ever in my life. I'm not currently trying to, for instance, max out on squat or max out on bench or max out on deadlift necessarily, as I was in the past, or you know, try to work up to maximal loads just because I'm working through some injuries or working to rehab those, and so it doesn't make sense for me in my program right now. But in terms of my strength on exercises such as leg press, it's at an all-time high. So here, next I moved into cable pull-throughs. So I believe I worked up to 180 pounds on these. So what I like to think of here is stretching my hamstrings as far as I can without losing a neutral back. So here at the bottom, see how I'm stretching, and then I'm squeezing up and thinking of wedging my glutes together. So, oh, also, I don't think I've done a video since I got my haircut. So I chopped all my hair off, if you couldn't tell, and I darkened it a little bit. So yeah, just thought I'd mention that. My current body weight right now is about 148 pounds or so. So I am about 20 pounds over stage weight, which sounds kind of crazy, but I got so lean. It was ridiculous. I was probably about 5% body fat or 6% body fat at 128 pounds is my lowest weight during the stage, and my last show was in November. So I am currently I've been eating in a surplus, and so that is my current body weight at 5'7". Because I know some of you guys would probably ask in the section below. Gaining weight has not been, I would say, the easiest thing mentally. It is not easy when you go from seeing the scale go down every single week for, my prep was about 30 weeks long, to seeing the scale go up every single week. But it's what you have to do to be healthy. I'm not going to be healthy at 6% body fat, and I would be sacrificing my long-term health, my hormones, everything. And it is absolutely not a good idea to be stage lean year-round. You will feel like crap, and you are essentially putting your long-term health at a very high risk if you do so. So for me, you know, it's hasn't been the easiest thing in terms of mental. Just mentally, it is definitely a challenge, so I can relate on that. And I actually find gaining weight harder than losing weight. I'm a much better dieter. So, but the booty is looking pretty good, so, you know, benefits to everything. So I supersetted walking lunges with a safety bar, and 50 pounds added. I believe the safety bar is about 65 pounds, so that's about 115 pounds for 5 sets of 10 on each leg, and I supersetted it with single leg calf raises, 5 by 15 on each side, just body weight. And my calves have always been pretty developed, so I don't need to go crazy on them. But I make sure that I am reaching a full contraction at the top of each rep. So here, this is the reverse hyper. This machine is for lower back and glutes and your posterior. So I like to use very lightweight and not swing like crazy. You'll see some people doing the reverse hyper swinging an enormous amount of weight. I actually talked to my physical therapist about this, and she said, don't do that. She said, if anything, it should be very controlled movements. So that is what I do. So here, the next movement I did was 2 up, 1 down hamstring curls. So essentially what this does is it allows you to overload the eccentric on these. So I couldn't do 15 reps with just one leg, but I can do it with 2 up, 1 down, if that makes sense. So I did 5 by 15 or 4 by 15 on each side, and then I followed these with blood flow restriction hip thrusts, 1 set of 30 followed by 3 sets of 15 with 135 pounds. Those burn like no other. So I hope you guys enjoyed this, and let me know any comments or questions you have below and what else you guys would like to see, so I can start making videos and not be missing in action for forever. Alright, I'll talk to you guys soon.